What's going on, guys? It's your boy Random Guy Kev, and this is Thoughts of a Random Guy. We talk about things dealing with love, dating, relationships, adulting, life's ups and downs, and the ever-evolving world of just being a human. Don't forget to check me out on all your favorite social media platforms at Random Guy Kev and my website at randomguykev.com. Today's topic is dating. What does it look like? And my co-host for this episode is
Dan,
What up, Dan? Welcome back.
thanks for having me back.
We talk about dating. I feel like we all talk about dating enough,
Mm.
and everybody has their own viewpoints on it, and it's just like every year something, so every month something changes, or about dating, or what it's about, what the elements are. Some people haven't dated in 10, 15 years, 5 years, however long, and some are constantly. Some are serial daters.
Mm.
I mean, some people don't know how to be alone sometime, and some people don't ever learn from their past mistakes while dating. So what do you think are the fundamental elements that define dating in modern society?
Like dating in a actually dating in a somewhat committed manner, I guess I would probably right. That's
Yeah.
kind of like
Yep.
you know, I I think like the big thing, I guess I would say in that kind of like serious if you're dating and you're getting into the serious thing, I guess I would say that it's more like the big thing I think is exclusivity. I
Mm-hmm.
think that with we've had dating apps and everything for so long, it's so convenient for some people to kind of like have their pick
Mm-hmm.
or to, do, uh, uh, be seeing multiple people at the same time, which, is like can be a thing. But if you are like trying to be in a serious, you're trying to date somebody, like there's like an expectation I would think of like exclusivity. Like once I've gone past like the first date for me, like I probably know whether or not I'm like invested or not.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to
I mean, in
think if
some cases,
there's
I think it takes, everybody's different, of course.
right,
Sometimes it takes people one date, other times it may take people six dates.
right.
Some people even put like a month, like, hey, at least a month. I got to be at least dating you a month to be
Mm,
before I consider like exclusivity, or
makes sense.
like you gotta something is there for me,
Mm,
because some people just like the idea of dating, even if they don't you know have all the necessary feelings for that person. They just like the idea of not being alone.
huh.
And I mean, in some cases, that's kind of what some people consider dating, like not being alone, not
Yeah,
really investing
it's
feelings. We're
mm,
just there. We're just there vibing.
I don't, like I don't know if if that would be like you could say dating in like the loosest of sense, like spending time with people, like sure. Um,
And not everything is dating, but everybody wants to
right.
consider everything dating. So it's
Yeah,
like,
like that's something like you have to like that should be like a conversation like you have to have kind of like what is your expectation of like what is as so many people have so many different like definitions because some people are like one date and they're like okay like I'm ready for super serious committed
mm-hmm.
like relationship exclusivity and some people like you said it could take them however many dates before they even consider maybe making it like an exclusive thing.
Yeah, like the conversation, like everything could seem like it's cool in the beginning, but
Mm.
then as you get to know the person, you're just like, oh no, I don't know about this one right here.
Yeah, I think definitely there are some people out there that don't take the time to uh, ask the right questions or try to like learn the right things about this person, and so then they get whatever 6 months or something down the road, and then they're like, oh wait, I've made a grave miscalculation.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
there are people that are just like, oh, I'll just date and I'll just like go along with this until it no longer serves me. And it's like, oh my gosh, it feels like you're wasting so much time just sitting there being like not fulfilled in a relationship.
Yeah, no, no, I get you. And for you, what do you feel like the concept of dating has evolved over time? Because I mean, you talk to older couples, people that have been in relationships in a long time, for a long time, and you hear their dating story, you're just like, damn, okay, like shit, not like that no more.
Right, like you like the level of courting that you would do,
Hmm.
like I it's definitely changed because like even me like when I was like regularly like seeing people, um or like not in a committed relationship, like would I consider myself dating it depends, but I wouldn't have considered myself dating most people like after like we go on a date, survive, see how that goes. And like generally it would take a couple of dates and time, like a month or so probably, before I'd be like, okay, now I'm like I feel like I could be in
In
that
that
vein. And I think
space.
a lot of people feel that like kind of like a lot of people feel like they I mean it's good to take that time to get to like know that person. um and so I think that's what a lot of people like, time. They want to be like, is this going to be worth all of my effort kind of thing, like
Hmm.
they're
I
like,
mean,
ugh.
that like you said, that initial time that you're spending with somebody, it's not necessarily wasted time. It's
Mhm.
learning more about yourself. And you're learning more about this person. Are
Right.
you able to deal with this kind of stuff that this person brings to the table? Are you not? And you check off things on your box like, okay, I'm able to deal with this. I'm cool with
Hmm.
this. Oh, I learned something new about myself. They enlightened me with something new about myself, and you kind of just keep moving forward from there. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. You just
Right.
keep it pushing. People get very offended when it's just like, hey, I don't think we're compatible. I think we should go our separate ways. All right,
mm,
cool,
mm.
keep moving. And when you're nonchalant with them, or I mean, it's not that you're nonchalant. You're just like, okay, I accept your, I accept your thought process. I'm not gonna sit here and ask why, but some people need that. Some people need to, hey, why? Why do you think we're not compatible? I want to know. I think we're having a great time. It's just like sometimes you just gotta be like, all right, there's more fish in the sea. Keep moving.
Yeah, like that's a really that's something that I like for years I was always like, um one of the interesting things that like I just learned to accept is sometimes like people are just like, it's a reality that some people are just not compatible, or you just real like, and it's nothing personal. They don't
Yeah,
hate you or anything. Like they don't think you're they may some people may think you're a terrible person, but odds are it's not the case. And it's just they're just like, it's nothing against you. It's just I realized that maybe this was a deal breaker for me or something else, and it's not personal. I don't have any bad feelings for you, towards you, but I don't want to continue seeing you. And like,
yeah,
what more really do you like need to know? It's just like two people were just inherently incompatible from the start, and that was like the end of it.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. And I mean, sometimes sometimes it's a blessing.
Mm.
You just keep it moving, and that's all you can do. And in regards to dating, there's a lot of there's a lot of polygamy out there. People talk about, oh, I need a monogamous person, or I'm in a polygamous relationship. Da 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 da. When it comes to dating and
Mm.
like being in a relationship with somebody, so like they're in a relationship with somebody, but they're dating other people. So it's like, what are your thoughts on that?
I can't say I ever really understood it.
Mm,
Um, I it's never been something that I was like exposed to up until like, I guess I'd say, relatively recently, where people uh, you know, are have multiple partners. Like it's a very interesting thing. And if they can, make it work for them, and all parties involved are like cool with it, yeah. But I would not, uh that's not my jam. If it's yours, and you guys, everybody involved like makes it work, sure, but it's definitely something outside of, you know, the norm of what we normally expect out of relationships.
it's mad work. I'm sorry. Like even when you're dating and you're dating multiple people, that's
Mm.
mad work. Like remembering backstories and things going on in their life for all of them. It's like, bro, Let me see which one I click with. Let me see which one I click
Oh,
with better, so
okay.
I could just
More
stay in
like in
contact
the
with that one.
context of like you're starting out and you're trying a couple of different people and seeing what it is kind of thing.
Mm,
Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I've, been there, done that. Like there were points of time where I was like, talking to a couple of people, I want to you never really, if I'm not committed to it and, we're open about that, then, totally okay to be like, hey, like, just want to let you know, I have, a date or something, if everyone's cool with it, like, all right,
yeah.
man.
Or no, I get you. And it's the that other thing about polygamy and whatnot, and people that are in those type of relationships and they're dating. It's like, as long as you give me the option, if you let me know immediately, like, hey, I'm already in a
Mm,
relationship, da 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 da, but I'm allowed to date other people. Okay, thank you for the information, but this isn't for me. I'm
right.
selfish. I want one person that's for me, and that's
Mm,
it, and keep it moving.
mm,
But then those people, like, you want your cake and eat it too. You want so much. You want so much of the cake.
yeah, there are some, like, I've definitely had friends, like, who he was in a committed relationship with this woman, and suddenly it's like I was single at the time and I was swiping on apps and I saw her on there and I like sent him a message and I was like, hey man, like I just want to let you know, like, this is what I'm seeing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh well, we're trying, we're, she's seeing other people in addition. I think some people do that as like a uh, it's an indirect way of like getting out of the relationship. Like I don't feel like trying that necessarily as like a solution to fix any sort of uh after the fact disconnect. Like if you're
Yeah.
going to be upfront and that's something that you want to do and you agree to that, yeah, but like if you spring it on like your partner or your significant other as like this is going to fix our relationship or this is how it has to be now that
Mm-hmm.
we're together, that's like that's not cool.
Just be single at that point.
Right.
That's how I feel about it. But there's again, there's like the new thing nowadays is people in relationships dating, getting back into dating and dating multiple people while being in a relationship, and I'm like, I don't know, that's mad work.
That's
I'm sorry, that's mad work.
it's a lot to keep, if you're trying to, like you said, like, oh gosh, and then like when I was like dating, like it's so exhausting trying to be like, oh, all right, and now it's so convenient that I'm like, all right, here's this new person. Oh, what is their kind of like, what kind of food are they into? Where would I
Mm-hmm.
take them on a date? Like now I gotta think of all these things, especially with multiple people. I'm like, wait a minute, does she want to do Chinese or does she hate Chinese? I can't
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah. It's just, yeah. Like that whole, that I don't have words for it. I don't have any more words for it. Just because it's weird. But when you're the whole dating thing, what are the different stages or phases of dating relationships that are like
Mm,
that you feel like that are like present today? The different phases. I feel like there's the initial, like, all right, let me find if somebody like me.
mm,
Then there's like, all right, let me talk to these couple people and see who really feeling me.
mm.
Then it's like, all right, now I gotta, you know, vote somebody off the island. So so
Did
get
not
my,
get your rose.
my one person. And then it's like, the exclusivity piece.
Mm.
And then, actually, oh, boyfriend and girlfriend and going from there. So I think there's like 3 to 4 phases before like you actually are in a relationship with this person.
I would agree. You start off with like your talking phase, like we're just talking, we're seeing where it's going. Maybe we go on a date, kind of like after that date, like, we're continuing to talk and get to know each other better and like a couple more dates. Then it's like, okay, now we're like seeing each other and we've decided whether or not it's actually like I'm like, okay, this is a serious option. I'm going to commit myself, to kind of seeing this through a little bit more
Mm,
focused than the other. And then, finally being like, okay, now I'm like committed to this. I'm going to be in this relationship. So yeah, but there's definitely a lot of failed talking stages out there. That's like
Yeah,
everyone's like always talking. Who knows how far it's gonna go, kind of thing.
and some people could be talking forever, and they're okay with that.
Mm,
They're okay with that because they're talking to multiple people, and they're just like, I don't know where I'll land, but
mm,
I'm doing this talking and seeing where it goes.
mm.
Um, but again, everybody has. Some people are just like, all right, I'm past the talking phase. Let me just find my person. Like, do you like me? Do you cook? Do you have your own place? Do you have a career? Some people cut that extra shit and just be like, all right, let's give it 2-3 weeks. Let's see each other
Mm.
and kind of go for it. I think like when you're dating, um, the time you spend with someone can determine what phase you're in. Because if you see that person, let's say at least 4 times out of the week, that's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's
You're
a lot.
you're yeah, you're in that one.
Yeah, so you're getting to know them. You're being in each other's space. You're talking a lot. You're doing X, Y, Z. Versus, say, if you see the person once a week or once every other week, then your feelings and like your how you feel about things moving forward will go a lot slower, and that will take a lot more time. So,
Right.
like I always tell people, like it's really dependent on I'm a quality time type of person. Like if we're spending time together
Mm.
and always each other's space, yeah, I'm gonna fall for you like a lot quicker because
Yeah.
we're always in each other's space. If we're not in each other's space, it's just gonna take longer. It's just
Right.
gonna take longer. Like I'm okay, nah, we just baby steps and kind of taking it from there.
Mm.
So like when people look at these reality shows and one being Love Island, where they're stuck on an island, have no communication with the outside world. You gotta think about they're with these people 24/7,
Right.
and all can do is talk. All they can do is talk to each other and be in each other's space. So that I understand how these people go from, oh, we just met to, oh, I love you forever. Like, bitch, it's only been a week.
Right. And you spend all of this time in person with somebody, like, you and all these conversations, like, eventually, if there was, like, if you were hiding, it's really hard to hide parts of yourself and like your or like who you are and what you like feel
What
and
crazy
believe.
shit you
Like
got
if you're
going on?
spending all of that time in person talking,
Mm-hmm.
it's really, you can't just like hide all of this stuff. Like you gotta kind of, it forces you to kind of like bare your
Be
soul a little
yeah,
bit.
it forces you to be yourself.
Hmm.
Because some when people are in this dating phase, they're just like they put on a facade,
Right.
and they're not themselves 100%.
Yeah, you can
And
only fake it for so long.
yeah, I mean, but some people already come to the table 100%. Like, hey, this
Right.
is me. Like, you either take it or leave it.
Mm.
And other people are just like, nah, what? Like, let me hide a little bit of this and hide a little bit of that, and I'll tell them later when they get more invested. And
Right.
sometimes that's hard. Like once you get invested in someone, you there, and it's like they tell you some shit. They just drop some shit on your lap, and you're just like, damn,
Right. You're like, how did we get
damn,
this far along and like you didn't tell me like this?
right? And it's like I feel like that's something you tell somebody, like something like crucial. You gotta tell people like immediately, not like 8 dates in.
Mm.
Like, damn, that's crazy. And do you feel like when it comes to the dating, important shit should be said in the forefront, not like left out, like the third, fourth date type stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Like there at a certain point, there should be the expectation that you don't have to have shared everything about everything, but some of like the deep, you should kind of know a little bit about each other's like what are your
Traumas or something
right, what are your traumas, what wounds do you have, so, and you don't need to go into
in
all of
depth.
the
Yeah,
details surrounding all of that, but like so they know, so that they can, they're able to figure out what that means in terms of like them. They're like, can is this something that like we should have an understanding of each other's baggage going into a relationship.
Yeah, I mean, everybody brings in their own baggage
Hmm.
when jumping into relationships. Sometimes it's hidden baggage, sometimes it's baggage you don't even know about,
Right.
and sometimes it's stuff that you literally put on Front Street. It's just once you start having that conversation, I mean, it let you know a lot. It let you know a lot about somebody. Um, because like sometimes people are very upfront. Like, hey, this is what's going on. This is what's happening. I'm letting you know that now because maybe you don't like me because of that. Okay,
Right.
thanks for letting me know. Shit. All right, now sometimes I gotta let shit marinate though. After I get told that information,
Right.
let me let
Like, you
shit
don't want to
marinate for a
get,
little bit.
yeah, you just like something like, hey, like, I don't know, like dropping like like, hey, I'm still like technically married, I'm kind of like in the middle of this divorce,
Oh
or
my
I
god.
just decided this, like something like that's very pertinent information, and you
For
definitely should
real.
not exclude something like that.
You don't want the husband pulling up, the wife pulling up like, yo, what's good? Slashing your tires or some shit like, why are you with my significant other? I'm like, oh, who you talking about?
Right,
Who are you
right.
talking about right now? And but the thing is, it's always situations like that where people are just like, hey, I'm going through a divorce, but no, wait a minute, wait, you should be focusing on dating then.
Right.
Well, that's in my opinion. Some people do it anyway because they're lonely, but hey, why are you focusing on dating while you're getting out of a relationship like a divorce? You were
Right.
married. Like you don't just get married. And the thing is, people, I think people just get married just to say they get married. They're married at this
Ah,
point because there's a lot of divorce situation happening, and it's scary. I mean, I believe in love. I believe in marriage, but I feel like you go into things, I would hope, knowing as much as possible and making the right decision
mhm.
before you move forward and not being like, we'll figure that out when we get married. No, don't do that. Figure that shit out now. If you can't figure
Right.
that shit out now, don't get married.
Right. If there's like, you have to be, I don't know. I feel like some people like don't do, like they don't get the real depth of somebody sometimes. Like they get into these relationships, like a lot of people, I would say, like in like my parents' generation, a lot of them, they got together, and a lot of them stayed together for a lot of the wrong reasons, some people.
Mm-hmm.
And like the way that that impacted, their families, and they stayed together, and then they were like, oh, well, is it going to be worse for our kids to just get a divorce or to stay together and be unhappy together? Like it's like a lot of people stayed to stay together for the wrong reasons. Like they did not do a proper job uh making a decision on whether or not something, the way that a person acted or how they are, is a deal breaker.
Yeah,
And then it just, like, that resentment just builds up over time, and then it just infects everything.
agreed. Yeah, 100%. It's like, bro, like, come on. I mean, the older generation didn't have social media to deal with though.
That too. All these, they didn't have media, they didn't have these dating apps, they didn't have
Listen,
any of this stuff.
they had shit easy. It's like you're playing in a minefield right now. Like you could be dating someone and then somebody else pops up and it's like, damn, you fit everything I like. Damn, you
Like,
feel
bing.
like you'll meet like three other people. Damn, you fit everything I like. Damn, you feel it's like, bro, like we have access to everybody. So it's like everybody's like, oh, I think I could get somebody better if I just wait. Oh, maybe I could
Right.
think I could get somebody better if I just wait, or go this
Right.
way, or go that way.
You're like, the fear of, like, you're like, oh, it's so easy to like meet. It can be so easy to like meet other people now and to like be in touch with people. Like, you're like, what if this person who I'm like, I don't know, I'm kind of iffy on. What if somebody else comes along that's just like totally amazing and blows me out of the water, kind of thing. Like,
Mm. Yeah,
now it's so convenient. It's on it. It could be so easily on everyone's phones. Back then you'd like wait by your phone at your home when people probably still had home phones. I don't know. I haven't had a home phone in years. They sit by like, who rang up who's running up the bill every month with these late night phone calls?
yeah, no. Do you feel like the people around you? kind of uh, whoa, wow. I got the whole question tongue tied. The people around you affect how you date other people
Mm.
because you see their dating situations and you're just like, oh, I like that, or I don't like that.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I guess, yeah, I see. I've been around plenty of relationships where, like, friends who've been in relationships where I'm just like that. Sometimes there's stuff that I like definitely want.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, oh my gosh, the way that they like. It's really nice to see the way some people like show up for each other and care for each other. And other times it's just like, wow, it seems like they're just tiptoeing around each other, you know. Um, so luckily, a lot of the people that I do surround myself with, or that I am surrounded with, are people that are in happy, healthy relationships most of the time. So it's nice. But there's always people that I can see that may not be, the
That's not
happiest.
it. You just like, that's not it. I don't want that.
Yeah, definitely like, and I'm super lucky, like I have, I have a wonderful girlfriend. Um and I'm super lucky, but I know, there's not always people that are around me that are so lucky in some of their relationships that I'm just like, there are definitely moments where like she and I may go out with a group of people and we
Mm.
kind of see some of the dynamics happening, and we drive home and we're like, wow, like
That's
I'm glad that we are
yeah,
not that.
yeah. That's funny. Do you feel like um, cultural differences impact the look of dating? Or like, say if you were to date, somebody, yeah, I mean, guys, this man right here is extra Caucasian.
I am
He
I am I am white.
Do you feel like, say, okay, if you were to date outside your culture, like someone like that was Chinese, Japanese, African, like, do you feel like that would impact the look of how you were dating? Like how would that affect how you were dating? I'm pretty sure it would open up different perspectives for you on how you normally would handle things with somebody of a different culture.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I never really saw myself as somebody who would ever like limit myself to like who I was dating. It's just more like whoever I'm kind of into.
Yeah.
um and I don't have a lot of experience dating people from dating people from outside of my own culture in like anything more than like a really casual, um in a casual way, you
Mm.
know but I'm sure that it's I'm always willing to. I've known a variety of people of kind of like a lot of the uh, activities I've done in my life,
Mm.
in my education and everything. I've met so many people from such a variety of uh, backgrounds that I'm sure that it would probably impact me somehow. I wish I could, speak to speak to it more. Um, but I spent the first part of my life kind of like not thinking anybody was like attracted to me, kind of thing. So I missed out a lot. Um,
Mm. I mean,
how
that's
about how
yeah.
about you? Like, have you
I
had
mean,
any of these experiences?
I mean, I've dabbled with different flavors of ice cream. Um, um, and it's always interesting. I'm a food guy, so it's always interesting trying different cultures and seeing what they're about. Seeing how some people expect a lot from you, whereas other people don't expect that much. They're just very simple. Whereas like some people want you to like bow at their feet, and it's like, oh, okay, 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 I get it. And yeah, I mean, Yeah. So as we get to this end of this episode, what do you want to leave people with on your thoughts about dating and what does it look like now?
I think that it definitely pays to be upfront. Like if you're grown, and you only have so much time. You know, be upfront with what you want with people. Be like, hey, listen, this is what I'm looking for. This is not what I'm looking for. Um, and properly vet people. And if you're all on the same page, you're consenting adults. Live your life.
Word, adult as much as you need to. But thank you for joining me for this episode. You guys can find me on all social media platforms at Random Guy Kev and my website at randomguykev.com. Don't forget to check in, and I will catch you guys on the next one.